If you just look at those two images, they say a lot. So you have waterfall process wherein you understand the client's needs, you design for it, then you will start building the software, then you deliver the product. Once you are in the designing phase, then you will never go back to your client's requirements. You will ignore it. If he comes back with any new requirements, you will ask him to come at next iteration because you are past client requirement understanding. Once you are building your software, that is your coding, he says, I want to change the design. You will say, because you are in the waterfall model, you will say, I can't accommodate your changes. Now, let me release the product with whatever approvals you have given, and then I will come back to whatever changes you said in my next iteration, that is next month. Now I have already started with your current design. But that is not the case in any real-time scenario. Real-time scenario, your product design changes, and sometimes it changes just before production. When you are going to production, just a few days before it, not absolutely 1 day or 2 days before it, just a week or is a 8 to 10 days before it, before you go to production, there can be a design change. Changes are very common, and that's how software works. Look at how agile process looks like. It understands, it designs. If at all there is a design change, it again starts understanding it and then designing it. If at all there is another change, it will keep on understanding and designing and incorporating whatever the client says whenever he says. I can even, when I'm delivering it, I can even then be designing and building. Design what? Design, when will it happen? When is delivery happening here in Waterfall? Here. So even at this phase, even at the delivering phase, if there is a design change, I am ready to incorporate it. So there is nothing like any rigid process which I will follow in Agile. Agile is dynamic. So whenever you are working on an Agile project, it's more dynamic. It is more into understanding the client and incorporating whatever the client says. Incorporating whatever the client says into your current process. So it is more client oriented. That's why you see since the past at least 10 years, I have only worked on agile projects. So it's nothing like I have come across even once on a waterfall model. I always have worked on agile processes. So it's a very famous process. 99% of the projects out there are agile. They don't follow any other model. Within agile, you have some other process like Scrum. We'll speak about that as well because that is the methodology which is adapted. You have agile, you have Scrum. What is agile? What is Scrum? We'll come to that. But essentially, understand agile is a pretty famous process to build your software development lifecycle. It has many advantages using. Essentially, the client has many advantages using agile as well as the developer. It is not just like the client. It is from the developer's perspective as well. It is more developer friendly. How is it developer friendly? Why does it give control to the developer? I'll come to that. How does the developer life become easy when he is using Agile? I'll come to that. But essentially, understand Agile has many of the functionalities and processes in place than the waterfall process. This is what was used previously. Um, 10 years back, waterfall was very famous. They did not have anything called as Agile. This was all done over time of adapting Agile into the culture of software development by a person. We'll come to that. But just understand, it's a very famous process of using Agile. So that's about your waterfall model. Coming to the Agile methodology. So what is Agile methodology? Agile was born out of techniques utilized by innovative Japanese companies in 70s and 80s. 70s and 80s, these companies like Toyota, Fuji, Honda were using a few processes inside their companies. So what are these processes? There were many processes in place, and they were using Agile in 70s and 80s when West was not using it. They were already using Agile methodology. In mid 90s, this is where this man, Jeff Sutherland, he was frustrated by the companies and the projects which are being released inside companies. They were always behind schedule and over budget. This is very problematic in any project. Your project has to be on schedule and it needs to be within budget. Your budget has to be within the scope. You have budgeted for a few $1,000s. You have to be within the scope of the budget. You cannot overshoot your budget. But they were always overshot. Why? Because of the planning, because of the process which was in place. So that is where this guy, Jeff Sutherland, he started researching of what is a good process which we need to follow, which we can have in place. So while searching, he landed in Japanese companies and he started to look at their agile methods. So agile was initially in the manufacturing process. It was not it was not in software development. It was you look at Toyota, Fuji, Honda, all of them are automobile companies. It is more of a manufacturing kind of process which was present inside the Japanese companies. So once he started looking at this, he started creating a framework called Scrum framework. This is what he created back in 90s. After a series of successes using this new method, Scrum became quickly widespread. So what did he do? He's a researcher. He went ahead and suggested this process to the companies, to few companies. And those few companies adapted it. And once they adapted it, they saw huge benefit of having this process. They were having waterfall model there. Once they started adapting Agile in their SDLC lifecycle, it was pretty much easy for them to deliver the things to the end customer. And within budget, without overshooting the schedule, and everyone is happy. It is like a win-win situation, both for the customer as well as for the developers and the team. It was a very good process to be in place. And Scrum is one of the famous Agile frameworks which is out there. There are multiple Agile frameworks, but Scrum is what is pretty fixed. It will help us build the code in an Agile methodology. So we'll see that. But this is what is the background of where Agile came from. So over time, they got to a process which is called as the Agile Scrum process. So what is Agile and what is Scrum? Agile refers to the set of methods and practices based on well, in the Agile Manifesto. It's a official um, website. So this is where is what is defined as what Agile is and what should be done in an Agile process. Essentially, the mother book of how you need to work with Agile is all present inside your Agile Manifesto. What should be the methods and what should be the practices that your project has to follow when you are working on Agile. All of those methods and practices are specified inside the Agile Manifesto, which includes things like these are very important things: collaboration, self-organization, and cross-functionality of teams. So all of that, each of that is a different um, term, and all of that are very important terms. So what is collaboration? whenever you're working on a project, like I'm working on a project currently, and there are you don't work alone. You work with a team. You have senior resources within it. You have junior resources within it. So you work with a team, and collaboration within your team is very important. And understandability within your teammates is very important for a healthy team. Agile helps you and your team collaborate better. How? I'll tell you how. Once we start looking at the processes of how Agile works, we'll come to how. But essentially understand collaborating easily in a Agile team is very straightforward. It is not so straightforward in a waterfall team. It is pretty tough. We'll come to the difference once we start creating user stories and features and stuff on the Agile DevOps board. That's when we'll start understanding the power of Agile. But collaboration, just understand, is one of the main things when you are starting to work on Agile process. The second thing which Agile will help you do is self-organization. It is nothing like someone is pushing you. It is nothing like your superior is asking you to do it within a specified amount of time. So in a waterfall model, what supervisors have or what your technical leads and your seniors have on you is they will just say, I need this particular requirement to be done. So in a waterfall model, your supervisor will tell you how much of time you need to get a feature completed. He will just say this feature, what I see on the screen, there are 3 features, say, which needs to be built. He will just say, I want feature number 3 within 3 days. I want feature number 2 within 2 days. I want feature number 1 within 4 days. And he will assign it to each of the units. He doesn't care about what is the effort which needs to be put into. Nothing is taken into consideration. In a agile team, why is it self-organized? It is not your supervisor or your technical lead who is giving you the instructions of how many days or how many hours will it take to complete a particular task. It is you. You will tell within how many hours will you complete a particular task. It is not your it is not your supervisors. Because you say it, that's why it is self-organized. So it is a self-organized team just because it is you who is saying it. It's not your supervisors who are saying you to get it done. That's the power of Agile, which I feel is a very good thing. Now I have a say. As a developer, I have a say in the team. It is not like someone is pushing something on you. This is one of the best things from the developer's perspective because you can estimate hours and you can give the actual estimate of within how much time will you get a particular task done. That is one of the best things working with Agile. Even your trainee, the new guy who has just joined in, he also has a voice. In a waterfall model, he doesn't have any voice. It is just the supervisor. It is just your manager, your technical lead. These people rule the team in a waterfall model. In Agile, it's not like that. It is everyone will have a say. Everyone will say what they can do in how many hours they will be able to do a particular task. All of that would be falling on everyone's shoulders. That's why it is self organization. It is organizing yourselves. We are close to close. We are just a few minutes before we close the discussion. So I just want to have a buffer of some time so that we can discuss any questions or open things which you have. So any questions you have, which I need to address, you can speak or you can type in. Anything is fine. Okay, Lakshmi Rana is good. What about the other guy? We have someone else. Prashant. What about Prashant? We are fine. Any questions we have? Open questions? Okay. Then we'll just speak about one more thing, and then we can close for the day. So cross-functionality. When you have a team which is focused on one thing, that is, I am a developer one, so I will say I normally work on ASP.NET layer. I cannot work on web API layer. And there is another expert who can only work on web API layer. And there is another expert, Dev 3. Dev 2 can only work on web API. Dev 3 can only work on database. So there is in a typical team, you would be having people who are expertise in a particular field. That is not how it happens in a product team, in a Microsoft kind of environment. If at all you are known to it, I have worked with them. So they would not have anything like a dependency or people who will be expertise in only one area. Then me, I will be working on ASP.NET layer and web API layer in sprint 1. In sprint 2, I will be given DB work. And my work, which I am working on, that is ASP.NET and web API, will be given to Dev 2. And I will be given the DB work in the next sprint. After that, if at all there is sprint 3, I will be given UI work as Dev 1. And someone else would be given ASP.NET work. So this shuffling keeps on happening in a healthy project. Why shuffling? Why should we shuffle people like this? So that everyone is an expertise in everything else. What is happening here? It is very good from the management perspective, from my perspective, from the technical lead perspective. If someone is leading, do I have a hard dependency on that someone? I don't have a hard dependency. Why? I have a team which knows everything. In a waterfall model, or even today, even in Agile, people manage to build dependencies. That is a bad Agile Scrum Master or a bad Agile manager, because of which this happened. Essentially, in an Agile model, you will not have individual person's dependencies. If you don't have dependency, attrition will not impact the product. Attrition when people demand more during their annual hack cycles, all of that will not happen when you are working with an agile kind of methodology. Why? You will always try to make your team cross-functional. That's why it is just highlighted in the video. If a healthy team, it will always be cross-functional. It will not be functional, only a few people having huge dependency. That is not how agile team is. You will always cross-function people and keep moving them from one layer to other layer, because when they have multiple layers in an application, you'll keep moving people and reduce the dependency, so that if it runs away tomorrow, I don't have my product being impacted. Always will push for cross-functional teams. This is one of the practices. All what we are learning now is more towards Agile and Scrum methodology. If you want to become a Scrum Master, or getting these things, these terms and these things by heart or into your head is very important, because this is how Agile works. And once you are in a team, you will 99.9% land in a team which has already Agile processes in place. So that's why we are just learning what is it that it takes to be in an Agile team, and what's a good Agile team, and what are the processes and practices inside an Agile team. We'll keep speaking about it and keep exploring it for coming few sessions. We can just do some reading around Agile, what is Scrum, and what are the different players we have inside an Agile project. All of that, you can go ahead and do some research and read on top of it, so that we'll explore it more. You're not able to hear me? I am speaking at the same pace, and I'm speaking at the same level. Okay, yeah, that's good. So essentially, we'll keep speaking about Agile, and keep speaking about this for coming few sessions. And once we're done with it, then we'll move on to the next topic at hand. Okay. So that's about it for today. We'll meet again tomorrow. If at all there is any time change, I usually take multiple classes. So if at all there is any time change or push of 15 minutes or 10 minutes, I'll let you know as I've let you know today. So just bear with me for that time because I take multiple sessions. So I get busy with a few things in some sessions. So that's about it for today. We'll meet again tomorrow at the same time, 7 o'clock. Thanks. Yeah, thank you.